The creator of Bitcoin used the pseudonym Satoshi Nakamoto. For 15 years, the world has accepted this as simply a Japanese name. Anonymous founder wanted privacy, chose common Japanese identity, disappeared to protect anonymity. Reasonable story. Except the name isn't just a name. In Japanese, Satoshi means wise, intelligent, or clear thinking, literally the kanji for intelligence and wisdom. Nakamoto breaks into two parts, Naka meaning central or middle, and Moto meaning origin or foundation. Put them together, Satoshi Nakamoto translates roughly to Central Intelligence Foundation, or wise central origin. The creator of the world's first successful cryptocurrency, marketed as decentralized, anonymous, beyond government control, chose a name that literally means central intelligence. Coincidence? Maybe. But when you examine the timing of Bitcoin's release, the technical sophistication that appeared fully formed, the entities that benefit most from untraceable digital currency, the NSA's prior research into anonymous digital cash, and the complete disappearance of someone holding $60 billion in assets who never spent a single coin, the coincidences compound into a pattern. This is the story of how Bitcoin appeared at the perfect moment to solve specific problems for intelligence agencies and transnational criminals. Why the technology matches classified research published 12 years earlier. How decentralized cryptocurrency creates infrastructure for activities governments publicly oppose but operationally require. And why understanding Bitcoin's possible origins reveals that the greatest trick empires pull is creating the tools of resistance they actually control. The dark truth. When central intelligence builds decentralized currency and the name tells you exactly what it is, maybe you should pay attention to what's hidden in plain sight. Let's start with the name because once you see it, you can't unsee it. Satoshi combines the characters for intelligent, wise, acute, sharp, or clever. This is the same root used in Japanese words for intelligence gathering, wisdom, and mental acuity. It's not subtle. Nakamoto combines Naka meaning middle, center, or central, with Moto meaning origin, foundation, book, or source. Common interpretations. Central origin, middle foundation, one who comes from the center. Put together, Satoshi Nakamoto can be read as intelligent central origin, wise central foundation, or most directly, central intelligence. Now this could be coincidence. Satoshi Nakamoto is indeed a common Japanese name, thousands of real people carry it. But here's where it becomes interesting. The person who chose this pseudonym demonstrated extraordinary attention to detail in every other aspect of Bitcoin's creation. The white paper is precisely written, the code is meticulously crafted, the cryptography is carefully implemented, the economic incentives are deliberately designed. This is not someone who casually picked a name without considering its meaning. And if you were an intelligence agency creating a cryptocurrency, you wanted to appear independent and decentralized. What better joke than hiding your identity in the name itself? It's the kind of operational signature intelligence agencies have used historically, leaving subtle markers that mean nothing to the public but signal authorship to those who know how to look. But names are just the beginning. The timing of Bitcoin's release is the first major red flag that suggests deliberate deployment rather than independent innovation. October 31st, 2008, Satoshi Nakamoto publishes the Bitcoin white paper to a cryptography mailing list. This is exactly 3 weeks after Lehman Brothers collapsed on September 15th, triggering the global financial crisis. Governments worldwide were implementing emergency measures, freezing bank accounts, restricting capital flight, monitoring transactions for signs of bank runs, seizing assets, implementing capital controls. Iceland froze all foreign currency transactions. Argentina restricted dollar purchases. Cyprus would later seize bank deposits directly. Citizens in multiple countries were discovering that money in banks wasn't actually theirs. Governments could freeze it, restrict it, or confiscate it at will during crisis. Into this exact moment, Bitcoin appears offering a solution, peer-to-peer electronic cash system that operates without needing to go through a financial institution, as the white paper states. Money that governments can't freeze, can't seize, can't trace, can't control. Perfect timing to attract people desperate to move assets beyond government reach. Almost too perfect, because 3 weeks is barely enough time to write a white paper responding to a crisis, But it's exactly the right timing if you'd been developing this technology already and were waiting for the right moment to release it when adoption would be highest. Here's where it gets darker. The National Security Agency published a paper in 1996, 12 years before Bitcoin, titled How to Make a Mint: The Cryptography of Anonymous Electronic Cash. The paper was authored by the Cryptography Institute at NSA and published in MIT's magazine. It describes mechanisms for creating digital currency that is untraceable, uses cryptographic signatures, operates without central authority, and prevents double spending through distributed verification. Read that again. The NSA published detailed research on anonymous cryptocurrency 12 years before Bitcoin appeared, describing technical solutions remarkably similar to what Bitcoin implements. The paper discusses blind signatures, timestamping, distributed ledgers, and cryptographic proof, all core concepts Bitcoin uses. Now, intelligence agencies don't publish research on theoretical technologies they haven't already developed. They publish research on technologies they've built, tested, and determined don't compromise their operational capabilities. The NSA paper on cryptocurrency wasn't academic speculation. It was revealing completed R&D, and then 12 years later, Bitcoin appears with perfect implementation of concepts NSA had already solved, introduced by an anonymous creator who disappears completely after deployment succeeds. But here's the part that should raise the biggest questions. Satoshi Nakamoto mined approximately 1 million Bitcoin between January 2009 and December 2010. This is documented on the blockchain. The early blocks contain a distinctive pattern of mining that researchers have identified as likely belonging to Bitcoin's creator. At current Bitcoin price of approximately $90,000, that's $90 billion. $90 billion held by one anonymous entity who has never spent a single Satoshi, never moved coins to new addresses, never cashed out, never revealed identity, and disappeared completely in 2011. This violates everything we know about human behavior and financial incentives. People who accumulate wealth, especially massive wealth, use it. They buy property, invest in businesses, donate to causes, spend on lifestyle, diversify holdings, or at minimum move funds occasionally for security. Satoshi has done none of this in 14 years. The coins sit untouched in wallets everyone can see on the blockchain but no one can access. Only entities that prioritize mission over money behave this way. Only operations where the goal is deployment and adoption, not personal enrichment, create massive wealth and never touch it. This is operational behavior, not individual behavior. An entrepreneur would have sold some Bitcoin at $100, or $1,000, or $10,000, or $60,000. An intelligence operation would let the coins sit forever because touching them risks exposure, and the operation's value is the infrastructure it created, not the currency it holds. Now let's examine who actually benefits from untraceable digital currency, because this reveals whose problems Bitcoin solves. First, drug cartels and transnational criminal organizations. Before Bitcoin, cartels faced massive logistical problems moving money. Cash is physical, bulky, heavy, detectable by drug dogs, requires smuggling across borders, needs money laundering infrastructure, vulnerable to seizure. Pablo Escobar reportedly lost $2.1 billion to spoilage, cash eaten by rats, destroyed by water damage, or buried and lost. Cartels spent approximately 10% of revenue just handling physical cash. Bitcoin solved this completely. Unlimited value fits on a USB drive or 12-word seed phrase that can be memorized. No border controls detect it. No physical smuggling needed. Transfer $50 million from Colombia to China in 10 minutes for 1% fee. The Sinaloa cartel, CJNG, Ndrangheta, Russian mafias all adopted cryptocurrency for international money movement. Silk Road demonstrated the model in 2011, $1.2 billion in drug sales in 2 years using only Bitcoin. Then Alphabet, Hydra, dozens of dark web markets processing billions in illegal transactions. Ransomware only exists because cryptocurrency exists, no other way to receive anonymous ransom payments at scale. Colonial Pipeline paid $4.4 million in Bitcoin. JBS Meatpacking paid $11 million. Over $1 billion in ransomware payments in 2023 alone, all via cryptocurrency. Second, sanctions evaders and rogue states. North Korea uses cryptocurrency to evade sanctions and fund weapons programs, documented by UN reports showing North Korean hackers stealing cryptocurrency to fund nuclear development. Russia uses crypto to evade sanctions after Ukraine invasion. Venezuela uses it to bypass oil export restrictions. Iran uses it to evade banking sanctions. Any nation or entity cut off from dollar-denominated banking system can operate through cryptocurrency. This should be a problem for U.S. interests. Enemies evading sanctions using technology that appeared from anonymous creator with American English writing style and deep knowledge of cryptography. Unless evading sanctions serves certain operational interests. Because third entity that benefits from untraceable currency, intelligence agencies themselves. CIA, NSA, and other intelligence operations require moving money without congressional oversight, without treasury tracking, without creating paper trails. Funding covert operations, paying foreign assets, financing regime change operations, supporting proxy forces all require money movement that can't be traced to U.S. government. Before cryptocurrency, this required complex laundering through shell corporations, offshore banks, and cash networks vulnerable to exposure. Bitcoin provides perfect solution. Move millions instantly, irreversibly, without traditional financial system, with plausible deniability because it's decentralized civilian infrastructure intelligence agencies merely use rather than control. The historical pattern here is unmistakable. Intelligence agencies have repeatedly created technologies they want populations to adopt while maintaining hidden control or access. Tor, the anonymous browsing network, was developed by the U.S. Naval Research Laboratory, funded by DARPA, and is still partially funded by U.S. government. Marketed as privacy tool, actually provides cover for intelligence operations by creating large user base of civilians whose traffic masks government activity. Encryption algorithms adopted worldwide often have backdoors or weaknesses intelligence agencies know about. The dually CDRBG random number generator contained NSA backdoor, was adopted as standard, used for years before exposure. Crypto AG, Swiss encryption company trusted by over 100 countries, was secretly owned by CIA and German intelligence for decades, selling backdoored equipment to foreign governments while reading all their communications. Pattern, create or compromise privacy tools, encourage widespread civilian adoption, use civilian traffic for operational cover, maintain hidden access or control. Bitcoin fits this pattern perfectly. Create decentralized cryptocurrency, encourage adoption by criminals and privacy advocates creating large user base, use that infrastructure for operations while maintaining plausible deniability, benefit from untraceable money movement while publicly opposing the same capabilities. Here's where the technical sophistication raises more questions. Bitcoin didn't emerge through gradual development with public collaboration and iterative improvement. It appeared essentially complete. The white paper in October 2008 was followed by working code in January 2009, version 0.1, released publicly with functional blockchain, mining, and transaction systems. This is extraordinarily unusual for complex software. Most major software projects take years of development, multiple programmers, extensive testing, numerous bugs and iterations. Bitcoin launched with remarkably few bugs for such complex cryptographic and economic system. The code quality was high from the start. The economic incentives, mining rewards, difficulty adjustment, 21 million coin cap were carefully designed to encourage adoption and network growth. The cryptography was sound. This suggests either a single genius working alone for years before release possible, but unlikely for software this complex, or a team of experts with significant resources developing it over extended period before public deployment, more consistent with intelligence operation, developing technology for specific operational purpose. Satoshi's communications on forums and email lists show deep understanding of cryptography, economics, programming, and game theory, expertise spanning multiple domains that typically requires teams of specialists. And then Satoshi disappears. The last communication was April 2011. I've moved on to other things. The software is in good hands with Gavin and everyone. Then complete silence. No explanation, no goodbye, no verification of identity, no access to the million Bitcoin, No follow-up projects, no interviews, no attempts to claim credit for creating technology now worth trillions in market cap. This behavior is consistent with completed operation. Deploy technology, ensure adoption reaches critical mass, transfer maintenance to community, extract operatives. Individuals who create revolutionary technology don't vanish silently. They write books, give talks, start companies, advise governments, enjoy recognition. Steve Jobs didn't disappear after creating Apple. Linus Torvalds didn't vanish after Linux. Satoshi had more reason than anyone in history to reveal identity: instant fame, massive wealth, historical legacy, Nobel Prize consideration. Chose complete anonymity instead. This is operational discipline, not entrepreneurial behavior. The modern implications reveal why this matters beyond cryptocurrency itself. Bitcoin demonstrated that populations will adopt digital currency if marketed as liberation from government control. Now governments worldwide are developing central bank digital currencies, CBDCs, that take Bitcoin's technology, remove anonymity, and add programmable control. China launched digital yuan in 2020 with capabilities to track every transaction, prevent unapproved purchases, and expire if not spent by deadline. Federal Reserve, European Central Bank, Bank of England all developing CBDCs. If Bitcoin was intelligence operation, the strategic outcome is clear. Normalize digital-only money through decentralized cryptocurrency, prove populations will abandon physical cash for digital alternatives, then implement CBDCs capturing same infrastructure with government control. Cash is freedom because it's untraceable and can't be remotely frozen. Digital currency, whether Bitcoin or CBDC, creates transaction records, identity links, and control capabilities impossible with physical money. Bitcoin trained an entire generation to accept digital wallets, biometric verification, online-only money, and elimination of cash. Whether intelligence operation or not, Bitcoin created the infrastructure and public acceptance that enables CBDC rollout. This is the empire economy. Satoshi Nakamoto, a name that translates to central intelligence, created Bitcoin and released it exactly 3 weeks after Lehman collapse, when capital controls were being implemented globally, and people needed ways to move money beyond government reach. The technology matches NSA research published 12 years earlier describing anonymous cryptocurrency mechanisms. The creator mined $90 billion in Bitcoin and never spent a single coin, then disappeared completely after ensuring adoption succeeded. Operational behavior, not individual behavior. The entities benefiting most from untraceable digital currency are drug cartels evading physical cash logistics, rogue states evading sanctions, and intelligence agencies moving money for covert operations without oversight. Historical pattern shows intelligence agencies repeatedly create privacy tools they control, while populations adopt them believing in independence. Tor, encryption backdoors, crypto AG. Bitcoin's technical sophistication suggests team development, not individual genius. Release timing suggests deployment, not innovation. And creator disappearance suggests completed operation, not entrepreneurial exit. Whether Bitcoin was intelligence operation or not, the strategic outcome is identical. Populations now accept digital-only money, cash is declining, CBDCs are being implemented using cryptocurrency infrastructure, while adding government control Bitcoin supposedly prevented. The name told you from the beginning: central intelligence creating decentralized currency. Maybe the joke was always on those who thought government would allow truly uncontrollable money to exist at scale. Maybe the greatest trick declining empires pull is creating the tools of resistance they actually control, and maybe cryptocurrency is that trick executed perfectly. When someone holding $90 billion never spends a penny and uses a name meaning central intelligence, perhaps we should consider that mission success for intelligence operations doesn't look like personal enrichment, it looks like infrastructure deployment. And Bitcoin deployed infrastructure that governments are now capturing for total financial surveillance and control, exactly as empire economics predicts. Technology marketed as liberation becomes the mechanism of enslavement once populations adopt it and infrastructure exists for capture.